Are you nursing the scars left behind by a narcissist? Trapped in a web of sweet promises and subtle manipulation, unsure of how to escape their toxic grasp. It's time to snap out of this illusion. Don't let yourself sink deeper into the sugary lies they've spun around you. Open your eyes and uncover the 7 unmistakable signs that a narcissist has decided to move on. These vital insights will tear down the facade, empower you to break free from their control, and reclaim your true self. Here's the tough truth. While you're left reeling from the emotional wreckage, the narcissist's departure often boils down to one simple reason: they've already locked onto a new target, someone new to feed their boundless ego. It's not uncommon for narcissists to openly flirt or flaunt their desirability in front of their partners, leaving them feeling inadequate and ensuring they're seen as irresistible to others. For a narcissist, relationships are merely a collection of conquests, and when the time comes to discard someone, expect no compassion. To them, you're just another tool that's no longer useful. But they won't leave quietly. Instead, they'll orchestrate a dramatic exit performance, ensuring the breakup protects their fragile yet overblown sense of self. Recognizing these signs will not only help you see the truth, but also guide you toward a safer and healthier path out of their toxic influence. Sign 1. They go silent and vanish without warning. One of the most ruthless tactics narcissists use is to disappear without a trace. No explanations, no goodbyes, they simply cut all ties. They block you on every platform, leaving you drowning in confusion, unanswered questions, and overwhelming pain. While you're stuck in a whirlwind of emotions and self-doubt, the narcissist has already moved on to their next source of supply. To them, it's as if you never existed. Their focus now revolves around a new target, someone fresh to feed their insatiable ego. Narcissists don't play by the typical rules of relationships. They operate on their own twisted terms, which can shift without warning, leaving you dazed and uncertain. Most of them want you to believe that their cold and dramatic exit is final, that they're gone for good. But do narcissists ever come back? The short answer is yes. Don't be surprised if one day they reappear as though nothing ever happened. They'll pick up the relationship as if it were never interrupted, only to vanish again the moment they lose interest. Narcissists thrive on the cat-and-mouse game, keeping you in a state of limbo where you're constantly questioning what's real and what's not. I know it's hard to accept this harsh reality, especially when your heart still yearns for them. But remind yourself of this: someone who truly loves you would never treat you this way. And don't make up imaginary scenarios to excuse their disappearance. Don't deceive yourself with ideas of accidents or misunderstandings. The truth is, they chose to leave in a selfish, careless way. Be brave enough to face this painful truth. It's the first and most important step toward healing, breaking free from the toxic cycle, and rediscovering happiness for yourself. Sign 2. They provoke arguments. When a narcissist grows tired of the relationship and wants out, the atmosphere becomes suffocating, as if a storm is about to break. Suddenly, they become a relentless critic, scrutinizing your every move and word, turning even minor issues into full-blown arguments. You find yourself emotionally drained, exhausted, and trapped in the relentless negativity they create. Be cautious. This is a classic tactic narcissists use when they're ready to leave. They deliberately spark conflicts, ignite tension, and use the chaos to justify their exit while placing all the blame squarely on you. This tactic serves 2 main purposes: 1, to manipulate you into thinking you're the one at fault, and 2, to fuel their inflated ego, as every emotional reaction you give becomes proof of their power over you. But don't be fooled. This is nothing more than a carefully orchestrated performance by the narcissist. They are expert actors, skilled at spinning their narrative and convincing others to see things their way. Refuse to be drawn into their psychological games. Stand firm, recognize their true motives, and choose to break free from this toxic cycle. You deserve a love that's genuine, a relationship rooted in mutual respect, trust, and kindness. Sign 3. They become emotionally detached. A telltale sign that a narcissist has emotionally exited a romantic or social relationship is their complete detachment from your thoughts and opinions. If they once sought your advice, engaged in discussions, or leaned on you emotionally while keeping their control and manipulation intact, all of that suddenly changes. Their indifference becomes apparent. They stop caring about what you have to say, and their once focused attention turns into an apathetic gaze. No questions, no interest, no concern. Your input, whether about small matters like clothing choices or more profound topics like life decisions, becomes irrelevant. In their eyes, you've been downgraded to an accessory, something that no longer holds value in their world. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, 2020, sheds light on this behavior, revealing it as not just a reflection of narcissistic traits, but also a self-preservation tactic. When narcissists no longer perceive value in a relationship, whether that value lies in admiration, control, or psychological benefits, they emotionally withdraw and cease investing in that connection. This is why they stop seeking your opinions, validation, or companionship, turning their attention instead to themselves or others who might better satisfy their ego-driven needs. In essence, this cold detachment is more than a sign of a fractured relationship. It's a window into the narcissist's inner mechanism for self-protection when they no longer see you as instrumental in bolstering their ego. Sign 4. They tarnish your reputation. To retain control and justify their exit, narcissists often resort to a manipulative tactic known as divide and conquer to damage your reputation. They skillfully create conflicts and foster division among those around you, transforming peaceful dynamics into a tense psychological battleground. This tactic serves two purposes: isolating you and positioning themselves as the orchestrator of the situation, all to their benefit. One common strategy involves spreading lies or fabricating stories about you, often delivered under the guise of concern. They might say something like, "I'm really worried about her. She's been acting so oddly lately, don't you think?" At first glance, these statements seem harmless, even caring, but they are deliberate traps. These subtle remarks plant seeds of doubt in others' minds, gradually building a negative perception of you among your peers. Over time, this can isolate you from your trusted circle, leaving you vulnerable and alone. Narcissists also exploit the trust and limited knowledge of those around them to spin false narratives. They seize every opportunity to gossip, fuel insecurity, and turn people against you, all without your awareness. This isn't just casual manipulation, it's a calculated, long-term effort to sever your connections, making it easier for them to maintain control. A study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Manipulation, 2019, identified divide and conquer as a defining trait of narcissistic behavior. The research highlights how narcissists use discord as a means of control while projecting a false image of trustworthiness to those around them. By manipulating others' emotions and actions, they create a web of influence, using people as tools in their power games. Ultimately, this strategy helps narcissists justify their departure. They shift all blame onto you, ensuring that if the relationship ends, outsiders see you as the sole reason for its collapse. For the narcissist, preserving their glittering, faultless image is always the top priority. Sign 5. They manipulate you into breaking up first. Narcissists are masters of subtle manipulation, and one of their favorite tactics is orchestrating situations that push you to end the relationship. They often provoke jealousy by casually bringing up exes, glorifying past relationships, or even reconnecting with former partners who now serve as their new supply. While these actions may seem harmless or coincidental, they are often deliberate moves designed to create insecurity, suspicion, and emotional exhaustion, gradually wearing you down until you feel compelled to leave. During this time, they become increasingly distant, cold, and emotionally unavailable. Yet their behavior remains calculatedly ambiguous, just distant enough to create tension but not overt enough to be easily confronted. This careful balancing act is meant to push you toward ending the relationship without making them look like the one at fault. And when you finally decide to walk away, they offer little resistance, as this outcome was their goal from the start. For them, your decision absolves them of any responsibility while allowing them to maintain a polished image to others. But the manipulation doesn't stop with the breakup. To protect their fragile ego and conceal their true behavior, narcissists quickly rewrite the story of your relationship to suit their narrative. They cast themselves as the misunderstood victim, and you as the villain responsible for the relationship's downfall. With their talent for distortion and theatrics, they recount events in a way that garners sympathy for themselves and shifts blame entirely onto you. To make their version of the story more credible, narcissists recruit flying monkeys, people they've subtly influenced to take their side. These individuals, misled by the narcissist's fabrications, not only support their twisted narrative, but also contribute to isolating you further, amplifying the psychological strain you experience after the relationship ends. Sign 6. They start pursuing a new source of validation. A glaring indicator that a narcissist is ready to end the relationship is their search for a new supply, someone to fulfill their endless craving for attention, admiration, and ego reinforcement. For narcissists, relationships aren't about meaningful connection, they're tools for boosting their self-image. Once you no longer meet their impossible standards, or they feel they've used up your value, their focus shifts to a new target they deem more promising. This transition often begins subtly. They may become emotionally distant, show little interest in your feelings or opinions, and devote more time and energy to someone else, be it a colleague, a former friend, or even an ex. While these interactions might seem harmless on the surface, they are often deliberate moves to line up a replacement before the current relationship has even ended. In some cases, the narcissist may highlight this new person's presence in ways that make you feel inadequate or diminished. This shift in their attention is often accompanied by increased emotional detachment, erratic behavior, or the creation of minor conflicts, leaving you feeling disoriented and powerless. By the time you recognize these changes, the narcissist has already emotionally checked out and prepared to move on without a shred of accountability or remorse. To them, you were never a partner in a true sense, but a temporary piece in their ongoing quest for self-validation. Once they've secured their new supply, your role in their life is over. Sign 7. They directly state they want to end the relationship. There comes a point when the carefully constructed mask of a narcissist or self-centered individual slips, exposing their true nature: cold, callous, and utterly devoid of empathy. In this moment, they abandon all pretense and unleash harsh, cutting words designed to inflict deep emotional wounds. They might bluntly say, "I'm done with you. This is over. I'm leaving. I found someone else. I love someone else. I want a divorce." In a professional context, it might sound like "I'm moving on to a new project," or even "you're fired." Their departure feels swift and brutal, like ripping up a piece of paper without hesitation or remorse. There are no explanations, no heartfelt goodbyes, just an abrupt end that leaves you reeling. In the aftermath, you're left with an eerie silence as they ghost you, cutting all forms of communication and erasing any trace of your existence from their life. The experience is a devastating shock, leaving you grappling with unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. As painful as this moment is, it also offers an unexpected gift: freedom. Their rejection, though it feels cruel and humiliating, releases you from the toxic cycle they have kept you trapped in. It's a chance to break free and protect yourself from further harm in the future. This is the beginning of your transformation. Instead of dwelling on what you've lost, embrace this opportunity to rebuild your life, heal your emotional wounds, and move toward a brighter future. Yes, the path ahead will include sleepless nights and haunting doubts. But it is also the start of an empowering journey, a journey to rediscover your self-worth, nurture self-love, and eventually find a healthy, genuine connection. Walk away with courage and resolve. You deserve happiness, peace, and a life filled with purpose. What you've endured does not define you. It's how you rise above it that shapes who you are. And never forget, there are sincere, loving relationships out there that will honor and value you without requiring self-sacrifice. This is your moment to step into that future. Will the narcissist return after a breakup? The short answer is yes, and often more times than you might expect. A narcissist rarely lets go of someone completely. Even if they seem to have moved on to a new supply, deep down, their craving for control and power over you lingers. They'll come back as many times as you allow, sometimes months or even years after the breakup. Think of them like a bored cat that suddenly decides to play with an old toy again. They may return for a variety of reasons, because they're restless, dissatisfied with their new partner, feeling lonely, or simply curious to see if they can still manipulate you. They'll use sweet words, seemingly genuine apologies, and caring gestures to draw you back in, making you believe they've changed. But don't fall for it. It's all part of their strategy to pull you back into their toxic web. The truth is, narcissists return because they need a supply to fuel their inflated ego. They thrive on attention, whether positive or negative, to maintain their sense of self-importance. Without this external validation, their carefully crafted illusion of worth begins to crumble. When they feel their grip on their narrative slipping, they'll do whatever it takes to regain control. They might orchestrate a dramatic exit only to return as the savior, pretending to rescue you from the pain they caused. And in your vulnerable state, you might even feel flattered or grateful to have them back. But remember, this is nothing more than a manipulative game. Stay vigilant and protect your well-being. Recognize their return for what it is, a calculated attempt to reclaim power. The best way to truly move forward is to stand firm, refuse to re-engage, and focus on building a future free from their influence. You deserve far better than to be part of their toxic cycle. Breaking free from the shadows of a narcissistic relationship is no easy task, but it's one of the most transformative journeys you'll ever undertake. Recognizing the signs that they're done with you can break your heart, shake your self-esteem, and fill your mind with unanswered questions. Yet, understanding and accepting this truth is the crucial first step toward breaking the toxic cycle they've trapped you in. To a narcissist, relationships are never about mutual love or connection. They're merely tools to inflate their ego and fulfill their self-serving desires. When you no longer fit into their plans, they'll shift their attention elsewhere without hesitation, leaving you feeling lost and abandoned. But no matter how much they blame you, twist the story, or paint you as the villain, always remember this: their behavior is a reflection of their flaws, not your worth. As painful as their departure might be, it's also your freedom. It's a chance to rediscover yourself, redefine your values, and build a life free from manipulation and control. Allow yourself to grieve. It's a natural part of healing. But don't let the pain consume you. You are not defined by their actions or their inability to value you. Think of this as a new chapter or rebirth where you learn to prioritize and love yourself as you deserve. Use this time to heal, rebuild your confidence, and seek relationships that are rooted in respect, sincerity, and genuine care. Your worth isn't tied to whether a narcissist stays or leaves. It lies in how you choose to reclaim your life and embrace your own power. This is not an ending. It's the beginning of a brighter, more authentic journey. With each step forward, you'll prove your strength, the strength to overcome, to grow, and to love yourself unconditionally. The world is full of new opportunities, meaningful connections, and a future waiting to be shaped by you. Step boldly into it, because you deserve nothing less than the best life has to offer.